Welcome back to the Rob Taylor Tattoos podcast. Today I have with me Cade Mower, folk country Americana artist out of Nashville, Tennessee, up here to get some work done. Cade, thank you so much for coming all the way up here and being on the show, man.
Man, thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
So today we're working on a buffalo smoking a cigarette with a cocoon hat. Where did this come from?
Man, just random brain dump.
That's what's up.
Yeah, just wanted something that I'd never seen done before. So I don't know. First thing that came to my head was a buffalo smoking a cigarette wearing a coonskin hat.
Well, that's great. Well, we'll get into it here. Have you always written like a Americana folky country kind of music?
Yeah, to be honest, it's hard to like put a genre to it.
It is.
Yeah, I just write music. Obviously there's stuff that I've listened to growing up that's influenced, like my roots influence that I think come out, but I don't think about genre as I'm writing. I sort of just write.
How long have you been doing music professionally?
I guess since I was about 21, I started playing in bars. I'm 35 now, so I guess 14 years.
And have you always been just more of a songwriter? Or were you in bands or anything like that?
Yeah, there's been a couple of bands. I do a lot of cover stuff because I play a lot of just bars. So when I play a show, most of what I play is covers, but I'm a songwriter at heart, and that's definitely the career that I'm pursuing is songwriting. I probably wrote my first, I guess, complete song probably before I was 21. And it was called the Lazy Dog Saloon, actually, which was an old bar I used to play that doesn't exist anymore back in Utah. The old LDS.
So what brought you from Utah to South Midwest? I don't know what you would call Kentucky and Tennessee. Is it considered the South?
To me, it is because I'm, I guess I'm from farther north. But music, man, yeah, it struck me across the country. So I originally went from Utah to Texas, Austin, and that move was, just to get out of Utah, one, but also all my favorite music was coming out of Austin, and so I knew that I wanted to pursue a career in music, so I went to where all my favorite music was coming from. So I went to Austin and cut my teeth there.
Did you have any connections there, or did you just kind of pack up and go?
Just packed up and went, man. I had zero connections. I didn't have a job lined up or anything. It was kind of on a whim, and made my way out there and actually went looking for gigs. And within like 45 minutes of looking for a gig, I was setting up to start playing a gig. I ended up walking into this bar, and they kind of directed me to this other bar. And when I got to the other bar, he's like, "You got your guitar?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "If you want to set up and play, I got a guy coming in at 8. You can play until 8." So I played from like 6 to 8 at this place called Lakeside Pizza and Grill in Texas, just north of Austin, and I ended up playing there for years consistently, and that led to other gigs, and I ended up, I'd probably play 100 plus shows a year during my time in Texas. That's probably a pretty conservative number. Actually, it was probably 150 shows towards the end.
So then how is the process of, you literally are just essentially cold knocking. You're just going into just all these different places and saying, what, I'm an artist and I'm looking for a gig. Do you give them demos, or how does it work?
No, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I basically go into it. The way I've always done it is I'll go into a place that I want to play, that I know has live music and just ask, hey, how do I get on the calendar? And a lot of times I'll offer to play for free. The first time I'll say, let me come in, like, give me a test run. If you don't like it, no harm, no foul. If you like it, we can talk about pay. And so a lot of places are just receptive to that, especially if you keep bugging them, they'll eventually give you a shot. So, if I was giving somebody advice that's trying to get gigs, like, don't give up after you don't get a response after the first ask. It's just like anything, any sales or whatever, you got to ask a couple of times, get in. And then what I did is, get back on the calendar before I leave if they want me back, and try to do that every time I play. And then eventually, once I earn a little bit of their respect and trust, after I've played there 5 or 6 times, I'll usually ask for like a monthly or a weekly residency. So like, I like to find, 4 different bars, and I'll say, hey, can I play on the first Saturday of the month? Can I play on the second Saturday of the month? Can I play on the third Saturday of the month? To each one. And then they just give me like a residency there where I'm playing once a month. It kind of takes some of the inconsistency out of gigs. If you can get a couple places to trust you and put you on the regular schedule, it creates a somewhat predictable schedule. So that's kind of how I've done it.
What's the biggest show you've ever played?
Probably I opened up for Giovanni and the Hired Guns at a music festival in not Bandera, in Texas somewhere.
How did you go about getting that opportunity? Going from like finding your own shows at bars to opening at a festival?
It was through a band member. We were starting a band, and the drummer had a connection with somebody that I think he worked for the festival. So he ended up booking the show. And we played it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a really fun show. And then I played another music festival, which that might have been actually the bigger one in Key West. It was called the Mini Music Fest. And that came from somebody that found me on Instagram. Shout out Rick Lindsay with X Insurance. He reached out and we kind of developed a relationship, and he put on the music festival down in Key West, and he actually came and picked me and my wife and kid up on his jet and flew us in to Florida and put us up in a badass hotel room. And I played a couple different times throughout this week of music, and got to meet some of my heroes that really, like, Jared Neiman, James Otto, guys that co-wrote songs that I love and cover all the time. So that was a big deal for me.
So with that gentleman that flew you out, has that facilitated other opportunities for you, or was it just kind of like that one and done deal?
It actually has facilitated, like, number one, the connections I made out in Key West have been ongoing, throughout my career, the benefit of those relationships. So there's been, like, I wrote a song for a TV show out of the connections I made there through my buddy King Pedford, who is the host of a show called Haymaker Hunting. King, if you see this, thank you for that. I've wrote a couple songs for his show, and that's been such an amazing experience.
Now, when you do that, do you own any of the rights to that song?
Yeah. Yep. So I own a third of the rights, and that was and I got paid just to write, and he covered the cost of recording and threw me some money along the way too. So King, I love you, dude. If you see this, he's a badass. He's probably a guy that you should have on here. Actually,
Okay.
he's got a big following on Instagram. I think he's got 500,000 people or whatever.
Nice.
But he's just a super good guy. He's and he's got a very, very interesting story.
So then how does pay work when you sell a song? Like to a TV show or?
So it's different for every situation. You can structure a contract any way you want. We just did a payout where King paid me, X amount to write the song. There's a flat rate, and then we split the royalties 3 ways. And it's kind of been similar structure for all the songs we've done on that show. I think I've done 3. Yeah, I've done 3 on there. And yeah, it's been really fun. I've done everything from, like, we did a Spanish song when he was doing a hunt in Mexico. And we did this really fun Spanish song, and I got to bring in one of my buddies from Texas on it, who is Mexican and a great artist himself. And we cut that song. It was a blast. And then we did another one where he was going to Utah, which is where I'm from, and he kind of just gave me the reins on that. Said, just do your thing. And that one's called Western Mountain High. And they were all those were, and then we got the theme song, which is such a cool song, and it turned out really cool in my opinion.
You did the theme song for it as well, you said?
Yep. And he's actually used some of my other music that I had out before I ever met him. He's used some of that on the show.
I was going to ask, like, why would somebody pay you to write a new song as opposed to just using one of your already pre-existing songs?
It's because it's customized to like him, like the Haymaker song. So his story is kind of like, it's almost like a Duck Dynasty thing. The show, it's like, it's not just about hunting. It's about his story and his life and his faith. And he kind of has I guess I'll call it a rags to riches story. He grew up like in the hood, and he was a professional boxer for years. He's a badass boxer, and he retired from boxing and found hunting as a passion. And then he also found God along the way and climbed out of a rough situation. And so we wanted a song that kind of encapsulated all of those things, and it was very specific to him, instead of just throwing a random song in there. So me and my friend Alex sat down and wrote the song, and it's very specific to that situation. So yeah, that's why he did it, because he just wanted something personal, something catered to him.
And where is this show at?
It's on the Sportsman's Channel.
What's it called again?
It's called Haymaker Hunting.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Is this the same guy that threw the festival then?
No, he was at the festival.
Okay.
Yeah, I met him at the festival.
So what about the guy that threw the festival? Have you done any more work with him?
Yeah, I actually went down to Key West one other time for another event that he was doing. He also has helped me. He's invested in some content, and he's been a huge help. And I'm sure he doesn't even know how much he's helped me and how grateful I am for him. So if he ever sees this, Rick, thank you, man. But yeah, I haven't done anything with him for a while, but I'm sure if I had something in the pipeline that I needed help with, I'd like to think he'd help. And yeah, he's just a cool guy.
So has there been any moments in your career where you're like, oh, that's it, I made it, everything's going to be just coming to me now?
It's funny, dude. There's been a lot of moments where I've had really high hopes and like that. And then, I have a tendency to like be overly optimistic about things. But I don't know. I don't think I've had that moment yet. There's been a lot of little moments that were big to me. But it's kind of been more of a slow grind over the past, 15 or so years.
So then what would be your ideal position in the music industry?
Man, I've thought about this a lot, and I think it comes down to my whole goal in life is to achieve the life that I would live if I had $1 billion in the bank. Like if money didn't matter, what would I do? And I'd wake up, I'd probably like exercise or whatever, do my thing, take the kids to school, whatever, hang out with them, and then I'd write music and create music and record and track and all that stuff. I would do that for free. I'd do that because I want to do it. And so I think there's a lifestyle that there's an avenue in the music industry that provides that lifestyle, and it's a songwriter. So if I could be like a staff writer, get a publishing deal and write for other artists and also release my own music, that would be the golden ticket.
Do a lot of people pay other people to write their songs for them?
Yeah. So in Nashville, it's a songwriter town. So there's a lot of artists in Nashville and other places that cut songs that are written by guys in Nashville that you've never heard of. Like a lot of the most popular songs in the world weren't written by the people that sang them. They were written by somebody that you've never heard of. And the royalties go to those guys, and they make a living off of, like George Strait didn't write a lot of his own music. He mostly cut other people's songs. And a lot of those people, you don't know their names unless you're a songwriter. There's some legendary, like Dean Dillon wrote a lot of his songs, George Strait's, and you probably never heard of him. I've heard of him because I'm a songwriter and I love it. I'm obsessed with it, but he's not like a household name,
right?
And that's appealing to me. That life, like that Dean Dillon, or like Travis Meadows is another guy who I would love to model my career after. He's a songwriter. He writes on a whole bunch of people's albums, but he's also releasing his own music, which I absolutely love his music. But he's not like, he can go into a grocery store and not be harassed.
Right.
And he doesn't have to be on tour 200 days a year or whatever.
Yeah, that's rough. I toured as a tattoo artist.
Did you really? What does that look like? What are you told?
So as like a pro team and sponsored artist, you go and you win trophies and say thanks to the supply companies. And in return, you either get paid by the company to be there, or you're getting free supplies, or the way the any other sponsorship deals work. And then on top of that, like it was a money thing for me. So I could sit at a walk-in shop and fight over the same $600 a week, or I could go to a tattoo convention where people are walking around with hundreds of dollars in their pockets looking to get tattooed. And I made 3-4 times as much doing a tattoo convention than what I did sitting in a tattoo shop. So it just made more sense to just hit conventions as much as possible. And I made a career out of just touring conventions.
That's cool. I didn't know that was a thing.
And every opportunity I think that came my way, as weird as it was, I thought that I had to be this great tattoo artist when that wasn't the case. Everything that I got was all relationship based, except for like when you obviously win a trophy or whatever. That's all subjective to whoever's looking at the tattoo to judge it. But in the sense of opportunities for my career, everything's come from just getting to know other people. Had nothing to do with how good I am at tattooing.
Man, that's so parallel to the music and songwriting industry. It's like, you know, because you come into Nashville and the name of the game is really like getting in the right rooms with the right people. So, you know, you can, like, if you don't have a publishing deal, if you can get in the room with somebody with a publishing deal and prove that you're, you know, if you can develop that relationship and be a good person to write with, you know, you have, number one, you have a better shot of that song getting cut because the person is, you know, involved with the publisher and they're pitching those songs actively. So number one, that song might get cut. And if it does get cut, then you've got a good shot at getting a publishing deal. But one thing I've realized, like I've gone into rights many, many times, and I feel like I need to like do something profound or like prove myself. Like a lot of times, well, you know, when I first moved out here, I always felt like I needed to like prove my worth to people. I needed to like blurt out my credentials and try to like prove that I was not just a hack or something. And I slowly realized like it's not about that. Everybody tries to do that, and that shows that it's like desperation, you know,
right,
as opposed to like just be a good person to be around. Like be cool. Songwriting's a very like intimate thing. You know, like you're pouring out your heart and you're like throwing ideas out there, and some of the ideas you're throwing out are gonna suck, and you have to be okay with that, and you have to make the other person feel okay with that. And so it's more about just being a good hang and being a personable person than it is, you know, how clever you are, how good of a writer you are, how good of a guitar player or singer you are. You know, that's part of it, but I would say that's like 20% of it, and 80% of it is like just being a good person to be around.
Is Nashville the same kind of vibe as LA in the sense that everybody there is just trying to make it?
I've never been to LA, but that sentiment is definitely very, very prevalent in Nashville. Like everybody in Nashville,
Everybody there has an agenda.
Everybody there has an agenda. Yeah, that's very true. Like everybody's trying to make it, like you said.
Does that make it hard to find authentic relationships, like whether that be business, friendships, whatever?
It does. It can. Like for example, like what I was just talking about. Like if I go, sometimes it makes it hard for me to, like, if I meet somebody that's like, I meet a lot of people that I admire. Like, you know, like, oh, I know that artist, I know that songwriter, and I admire their craft. And so sometimes when I meet them, it's like, chill out. You know,
don't fanboy out.
Don't fanboy, and don't try to like impress them. Don't try to like prove your worth. So sometimes it makes it hard like that. And sometimes I think like, even if I'm not trying to do that, they're weary of that because they get that all the time. So then they're kind of shut off, and even if I'm not doing that, sometimes people feel like you can be doing that,
right.
Or they're just more, they kind of have a wall up a little bit, and you've got to kind of take down the wall, which can be hard. But I don't know. I made a lot of good friends in Nashville too at the same time, you know. So the way I see it is like, we're all in it together, man. We're all trying to get the same thing. So let's work together and let's get there together. I think that's how a lot of people have done it and are doing it they develop like groups of talented people that they're friends with and that they trust. And then those groups together kind of raise up through the ranks.
I could see that. YouTube channels and stuff like that work kind of like the same way.
Yeah, you can like feature people and stuff. Use each other's platforms because you have similar audiences. There's a great community in Nashville.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, there's like it's very there's like a songwriter community. People are there to become songwriters, and there's a lot of resources available, and there's a lot of different events and a lot of.
Do you think it makes it harder there just because of the saturation of?
It doesn't. It doesn't. It's kind of a double-edged sword because it's like in the way that like you kick a bush and 8 songwriters run out, and they're like extremely talented. That can make it hard to stand out. But because there's so many songwriters there's a lot of resources there to learn and associate with like-minded people. There's a lot of opportunity for that. So yes and no. I think it's easy to get jaded and pessimistic about it. And I think a lot of people do, and then they leave. But there's a lot of good in it too.
How many people do you come across in Nashville that are actually from Nashville?
Not a lot, actually. There's way more. It seems like there's way more people that aren't from Nashville. There are a few though.
At what point through all this did you meet your wife?
I met her in Texas.
Okay.
Yep, I was playing a gig, and she was working at the place I was playing at. I was playing at Oasis Texas Brewing Company, which is a really cool spot in Lake Travis, right off of Lake Travis. And she always laughs. She's like, this guy walked in like he owned the fucking place. Mm-hmm. And I kind of did because I'd been playing there for a long time, and I don't know, I was very comfortable playing there. But yeah, we met, and then we didn't talk for a long time, and then eventually connected and started hanging out. And
so how long were you guys together before you were like, hey, let's go to Tennessee?
That's a good question. And I want to say probably right around a year. I think it was like a year and a month, actually. Now I'm doing the math in my head. And it's fun. What's funny is I was playing this it's actually an oyster bar in Texas called Shuck Me. And I played there every Thursday. And it was like her dad's spot. And so I got to know her dad and hang out with him every Thursday. And I love her dad. Like her dad is like, I wish we were closer because we could be like best friends. And we kind of were developing like a really good friendship before we left. And we are still good friends. We just don't get to talk enough. But one night when I was playing, I think it was the first night he had heard me play, actually. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? He's like, why would you not go to Nashville and try to like make a living out of this? And I was like, man, I think about it every day. And he's like, you need to go. And he goes, I think my daughter would go with you and I would support that. But if you don't go, you're always going to wonder. And you can always come back. But if you don't go, I think you're going to be bitter about that for the rest of your life. And, he was speaking to my heart because I had already thought about moving to Nashville, and I'd already talked to Lindsay about it, and I said we were going to, and then I kind of dropped out. So then when her dad had this conversation with me, I kind of lit a fire, and I was like, man, I have to go. And I was afraid to tell Lindsay because I kind of already took her through this roller coaster of emotions, like, hey, we're going to go. Hey, we're not going to go. And that kind of, that kind of pissed her off, I think, because she had like told her friends that we were going to go to Nashville, and then I ended up backing out because I had a house that was being built and whatever. I made excuses. So anyway, I was talking to her dad that night, And on the drive home from the show, I was like, I need to tell her that that we're going to Nashville. And I was really nervous to tell her, but she came home she was waiting tables at the time. She came home and it was like 1 a.m. or something. And I was like, hey, I need to talk to you. She's like, what's up? And I was like, I have to go to Nashville. Like, I have to move to Nashville. And she looked at me and I'll never forget it. She was basically like, no shit. You need to, like, you're the last person to know that. Like, everybody, like, I know that. Everybody knows that. Like, let's go. It was like a huge relief to me, her reaction to that. And so we put the house up for sale and got out here as quick as we could.
That's awesome.
And then we had, like, immediately after we got here, like, we bought a house and moved in, and she turned 30 shortly after. And I think something in her brain clicked when she turned 30, and she's like, I need babies. And I was like, can we like have 6 months here to, like, like, understand what just happened and, like, what the mortgage is going to look like, what the bills are going to look like, what life's going to look like. And we had that conversation, and she was like, she like reluctantly said, yeah, we can wait 6 months. And then, like, 6 minutes later, she's like, why are we waiting again? Like, let's do this thing. And I had to sit with myself for a minute and think about, like, why am I waiting? And it really came down to fear. I was just afraid I wasn't ready, but I knew I wanted to have kids. So I kind of just said, okay, let's do it. And we started trying, and it didn't take very long. She got pregnant, and yeah, now we've got 2.
It's a blast, ain't it?
It is, man. It's the most challenging and rewarding thing in the world. It's also the most motivating thing in the world. Like, there's part of me that's like I want to prove to my children that the dream is possible. Anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Like, for the music thing, I was afraid having kids was gonna, like, put an end to it. And really, it more than anything, it lit a fire. It made it a lot harder to find time. I look back and I'm like, what did I do with all the time I had before kids? And so I have to be, like, way more strategic, but I feel like I've got a way bigger purpose to like succeed and continue to dream and pursue my dreams with kids. I'm like, I want to show them that I'm never going to give up, because if they had a dream, I wouldn't want them to give up.
Do you have a ripcord to pull if it ever gets to the point to where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore?
I mean, yeah, I could stop doing it now. I don't know, man. If I wanted to, I could stop playing music and I could support my family. But, like,
said every addict ever.
Yeah, dude, that's
when I want to.
That's real. Like, I don't want to. I'll never stop doing it because I love it. And I'll continue to write and create and play music forever because I love to do it. Like, I'd do it for free. But I don't need to just to, like, support my family. I've got a day job. How
is that? How is having a day job and trying to pursue a music career simultaneously?
It's tough, man. It's time. The hardest part is time management. Like, how can I balance all of the different hats that I'm trying to wear? Like, I work in finance. So I'm, it's like a big boy job. It takes brain power. It's not like a mindless job. It's like, I have to wear that hat and I take it seriously. Anything that I do, I want to do it right. Anything worth doing is worth doing right. My dad always said that. And so like when I'm financial advisor, Cade, I'm financial advisor, Cade. I'm all in on that. And then when I'm musician, Cade, I'm all in on that. And it's when I'm dad and husband, I'm all in on that. At least I try to be. And that can be, it often feels like there's just not enough time in a day. And then when there is some downtime, like sometimes I just want to like do nothing, sometimes I just want to sit on the couch. So it's tough for sure.
What's the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome musically? Is it harder being like a solo songwriter than it is to have an entire band?
I personally think having a band is way harder because there's so much more moving parts. It's a lot more fun, but there's the logistics are so challenging. But the hardest, I guess the biggest obstacle, it's not like one thing, but it's fucking heartbreaking, man. Like this pursuit has broke my heart so many times.
What's been the biggest letdown so far?
I think just the fact that it's not a full-time career for me. Yeah. And like, I don't know. It's, like I released this song called Dangerous Ones, and I put, that my friend Rick Lindsay that I was talking about earlier, the insurance guy, he invested a whole bunch of money into that video, and then it flopped, and that hurt. And there's been, I don't know, like,
no, what is it considered a flop?
It's just like, number one, it kept getting taken off social media because it says the F word. So like, it just didn't get seen by very many people. I finally got it out on YouTube, and I was expecting it to do really well, and it didn't. And I felt really bad about that because I had somebody invest a lot of money into it. If it was just me, it wouldn't have affected me that much emotionally. But because somebody put in thousands and thousands of dollars into the promotion and into the production of it, it hurt to not, it just didn't do well numbers wise compared to the rest of my stuff. And that sucked because I felt like somebody else believed in me and then took a risk on me. And then I felt like a failure. I was like, man, this guy trusted me and invested in me, and I didn't come through. Like I felt like I failed. I dropped the ball.
Do you have a fan base?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I have like, I can look online and look at my monthly listeners on Spotify and, social media and stuff like that. And then there's obviously like my direct network of friends and family and people that I've just met, like in Texas when I was playing there for like 6 or 7 years. And, you start to see the same group of people showing up to different venues and different bars. And that's pretty cool. We had a little group in Texas called Crowtown. And we kind of combined forces with me and 2 of my buddies. And we played a lot, and it was a lot of fun. And we started to see, I'd call it a fan base. Like we had like, I don't know, it's not massive, but it's like, we had like 30 or 40 people that would come out and follow us around to different bars and sing along to our songs that we wrote. It's pretty cool. But it is, a lot of them I don't know about, right? Like the ones on Spotify. Like I look at the Spotify numbers and there's like, I've got like a fan base in Australia and, you know, like Ireland and all these crazy places. I'm like, how does this even happen?
It's been the most surprising moment. Like, for example, you think a song's going to just be mediocre, but that be the one that takes off. What's been the most surprising moment so far?
Man, the one that comes to mind is a song I wrote called Moroni. And I don't know why I was surprised, because it was kind of the plan. And I kind of said that, you know, I was like, man, I think this could really resonate. But it did, and it way surpassed my expectations. But it was a song that I wrote about growing up in Utah, and just about my experience. You know, Moroni is this statue on top of the Mormon temple, and the hook of the song is where Moroni blows his horn into the sky, because there's those temples all over Utah. And it's just, you know, it's just different, super specific Utah references. And we made a video. I flew back, and my friend Austin Christensen, who has been another huge, maybe the biggest influence, you know, he's been there every step of the way, and he's invested a lot of money and time into my development as well. But we came out, and he kind of had this vision for the video, and we did it. We put it together and released this video. And the first video I released, I think it got like 400,000 plays, which was, for me, was massive. Like I hadn't had anything even close to that. I had just started Instagram, actually. I had like maybe a couple hundred followers on Instagram. It was brand new. I stayed off social media for a long time because I just hated. I just hated social media. But finally decided it was, you know, it's time.
I hate it, but it's so essential.
It's so essential, dude. It's free advertisement, and it's the best advertisement.
That, and anybody trying to build a following or a community like that gives you direct access to that demographic.
100%. Yeah, so started doing that, and then that video popped off, and we posted a couple different clips of it, and they all did well. And I think because it was just so specific and so, I guess, like honest and real to me. And it was also a little controversial. Like people in the comment sections were going off. Like that was definitely fuel to the fire. People were getting so mad. Like a lot of the Mormons found it to be convicting. And then a lot of the non-Mormons found it to be convicting. And so they, you know, it was like, I kept it pretty ambiguous on purpose. Like I didn't want to take a stance. It was more observational for me. But people in the comment section, you know how people do that. They're just making their own assumptions, and people just get so mad and just be so mean in the comment sections. It was so cool to have like haters too. Like I had trolls, and I loved it, dude. Just people talking shit, like funny comments. But that was crazy to see that, you know, that like the amount of people that saw that video, to me, it was just wild. So how long were you traveling for the tattoo shows?
Quite a few years.
Like how often is it? Are you on the road like 100 days a year, or?
At one point, like 1 or 2 cities a month, 1 or 2 weekends a month.
A lot, especially when you got kids.
Luckily, I don't know how. Luckily, should probably the bad way to say it, but like my kid's mom was. I don't know if she was supportive by choice or just supportive because I was going to do it anyways. But I really wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that I would do if it wasn't for the kids' moms, like picking up my slack, I guess I could say.
I feel that, dude. My wife's the same way. He supports and stays home and takes care of the kids while I'm out doing my thing all the time.
Before we jump back into things, I just want to take a minute to let you guys know that I am accepting new clients. So if you would like to tell your story on the show, or if you would just like a new tattoo, head over to www.blackandgray.family or scan the QR code on the screen, and let's get back to the episode.
So where do you find most of your inspiration for your songwriting? Like lyrically.
Man, it's just personal experience. A lot of the stuff that so it depends on what I'm trying to write. If I'm writing like cathartically, it's like I'm looking introspectively and it's like stream of consciousness. So it's like, what am I struggling? Like if I'm struggling with something, it's easy to write about. Outside of that, like I read a lot. I used to, actually, before kids. I haven't read very much, but I find a lot of inspiration in books, and I strategically read, like I'll read like Steinbeck or like classic like William Faulkner stuff, just because they're such great writers, and they give me a lot of like one-liners. Having kids is a great place to start for inspiration. They'll inspire songs for sure.
What other musicians do you find yourself lighting a fire under you?
Like musicians that I like to listen to?
Yeah. Because what we listen to influences what we create.
It for sure does. Yeah, I definitely pull a lot of inspiration from music. Sometimes I'll strategically listen to music for inspiration. When I do that, I tend to go old school, like Robert Johnson type of stuff, or like.
Okay. I'm a big Delta blues fan.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude, me too. So like Lead Belly and
the whole 30s and 40s era was amazing for blues music.
Amen, dude. So there's a lot of inspiration that I can pull out of that stuff. But like what I'm listening to is like, I'd say like roots, like a lot of Eric Clapton, Blackberry Smoke. If you're familiar with them, they're like a Southern rock band. They're one of my favorite bands. I'm a big Pink Floyd guy. Leonard Skinner, Marcus King has been on heavy rotation with me lately. Also, like Tyler Childers, Sturgill Simpson. Love Turnpike Troubadours. I was a big Nirvana fan.
Really?
Up. Oh man, that was like my first like love of music. Probably was Nirvana. I grew up in the 90s.
So then why don't you make more grungier music?
I don't know. I think I probably will, honestly. I think some of the stuff I write is a little grungier. I just haven't cut anything. But I'm getting to the point where I'm wanting to cut some more. I'm wanting to cut a bunch of music, and I'm wanting to kind of find my own sound. And
I was about to ask you is if you've had like already kind of defined your sound, or if you're still kind of working on that.
I'm definitely still working on it, and I don't know if that'll ever change. I want it to, I want to just be like, hey, this is me, but I feel like it's developed so much lately too, particularly. But I think to your point, like I definitely want to lean into more of that grunge stuff because I just love it. I loved it as a kid, and it influenced. Dude, Kurt Cobain is like the reason I wanted to be a musician.
Once upon a time, I wanted to be a rock star.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ever play any instruments or?
Oh yeah, I play a bunch of instruments.
Really?
Oh yeah, I still play a bunch of instruments.
Nice.
I can show you some of my music when we're done.
Dude, please.
But I haven't touched music, and I gave that dream up. Like once I found tattooing, that became my new obsession. And then music just became thing. I don't know. I just kind of put it to the side, man.
What kind of music did you make?
I was a big fan of that Nirvana unplugged, grungy acoustic kind of sound.
Hell yeah.
In which I've played around with the idea of getting back into it and writing another album or something, but it just doesn't. I'm just not obsessed with it like I was when I was writing back in the day, you know?
Yeah, and that makes it hard when you have, a bunch of different irons in the fire. If you're not obsessed with it, it makes it hard to commit to, because it is a huge commitment, as you know. So did you sing?
Yep.
And you wrote the
singer and songwriter. Yeah, I got
Dude.
a shit ton of songs.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to hear some of them. Is your music released? Like, is it out
Yeah.
on streaming on like Spotify?
A really old shitty band I was in. I think there's some songs on Apple, but then I had recorded just me and a guitar on a camera singing Where'd You Sleep Last Night, and that's on YouTube. I can show
Hell
you that.
yeah, dude. What a great song.
I recorded it in this studio, actually.
That's a Lead Belly song, isn't
Yep.
it?
It is. And popularized by Nirvana.
What one?
And then it was popularized by Nirvana.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's now that I think about it, that's probably how I got introduced to all that Delta blues stuff, was probably through Nirvana. I'll never forget, I was sitting on the couch watching TV, and I must have been 11 or something. And remember those commercials that would come on TV where it would be like promoting an album, and like the album tracks would like float through the screen, and then like
the very first System of a Down album. That's how I found them. It was a TV commercial.
Yeah, dude, that's how I found my first Nirvana. That's how I was introduced to Nirvana. It was an album called From the Muddy Banks of Wishkah. It was a live album, and I remember just hearing the voice. Like I'm certain I had heard like their popular songs, but I remember just hearing that voice, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, it's so different from. My parents were listening to like the Eagles, Eric Clapton, Billy Joel, Jimmy Buffett, all those kinds of bands, but which I love still. But I think that Nirvana sound just
it resonated for sure.
Yeah, it resonated, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I remember like scrambling trying to find a pen and a paper to write down the number, because I wanted my mom to order the album for me, and I didn't get it in time, so I sat around just staring at the TV for like the next hour until the commercial came on again. And then I wrote it down, and my mom's like, "That's Nirvana. Like we don't need to order it. Like, I'll take you to the store right now." And we went to we had this old like record shop back home called Gray Whale. And she bought me a couple albums, and I think I got From the Muddy Banks of Wishkah, and I got Nevermind, and then I got like a Wallflowers CD and a Four Non Blonde CD.
Hell yeah, dude! I fuck with Four Non Blonde.
Dude, they're so good. Like that whole album, like that one song is good. The What's Up or whatever.
90s pop rock was great,
dude. It was like they have so many good
Doctors.
songs. Oh, dude, I loved Spin Doctors. And honestly, dude, I love the Wallflowers.
I haven't listened to the Wallflowers, dude, in like 30 years.
Bro, they're so good. Jake Dylan. But now all those albums, like when I hear them, I go back to that place.
I'm a big nostalgia guy.
Yeah. Same.
Music and movies.
Yeah.
So, like, that's my passion, is film.
Really?
So I didn't finish high school, but I ended up going to this like online film school thing. And that is like, I'm an artist. That's where my artist expression is. Photography just became a means because it was a lot easier to do a photo shoot than it was to set up an entire video production. But yeah, video work that's my thing.
So you do video work?
Yeah. I love doing music videos, but finding music has to click for me. Like, I have to like the music that I'm making a video to be inspired to create something visually for that. So finding artists that A, had good music, and B, had more than $300 to spend on a music video.
Yeah.
So now I do these. I used to train in MMA.
What?
So
Bro.
yeah, like coaching jujitsu and stuff like that. And I have access to a lot of MMA fighters. So now I do these like little documentary short films almost. I can show you some of the work when done here. But that is my whole jam is video work.
Sick. Have you ever recorded like live sessions?
One, I've done some commercial work, like corporate work, where like when COVID happened, I did like the Gathering of the Juggalos or something like that festival.
Oh, dude, my wife would go nuts if she heard you say that. She thinks she's a juggalo.
That's funny.
She loves ICP, dude.
I don't understand it. I don't judge it, but I don't understand it. Which is weird because I'm a very open-minded person when it comes to a lot of things, but the whole juggalo thing, it is well beyond me, dude. I have no clue what the fuck is going on there.
My wife just loves ICP. She just thinks their music is so fun and funny. And so she's like obsessed with.
It's very try hard to me.
I kind of agree. I kind of
shock.
I agree with you. Although some of their shit is really funny, just because it's so off the wall. It's like some shit that you like can't say, and they say it. They don't give a shit, and I respect that.
So yeah, I've played around with the idea of writing more music, man. I'm the kind of guy where I do better when I'm writing with people. I'm not a very. I have to be inspired by people. Like I'm not very good at just doing stuff by myself.
Dude, I'm kind of the opposite. Like I struggle. I want to be better at co-writing. I just feel like I'm just comfortable writing by myself because I do it all the time. And then when I get in a room with somebody else, like sometimes I feel like I don't know how to fucking co-write.
But then it's the opposite when it comes to performing. Like
Then you want to be
singing in a room full of people is so much harder for me to do than if I'm just by myself.
See, I think I'm the opposite on that too. Like I was thinking about shooting a live session in the studio and then releasing it as a live album. And I was like, I would need to have a crowd. I would need to have people listening because it's just so much, the energy is just so much different when there are people. Because the whole reason, like the whole thing, I've analyzed this before, I've thought about it. Like, why do I love music? And I think it's like the connection.
Really?
That I like.
I hated performing. I threw up before every show.
Damn, are you
like
serious?
The nerves, dude? Yeah, the nerves were terrible for me. I hate being like the center of attention. So being the front man of a band was hard. You would never tell when I'm on stage. Put on a great show, but internally it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like sometimes, I don't know. What was hard for me, honestly, like when I first started playing, I'd get really nervous, and then I'd get fucking hammered. You know? and then I'd make an ass of myself, but I didn't give a shit, you know? So I had to kind of relearn how to play. And that's part of the reason why I quit drinking. It's just so hard when you're playing shows all the time and you need to get drunk to be able to play. All of a sudden now you're getting drunk a lot, you know? So I had to pivot. I had to stop. I had to draw a line in the sand basically and just say no more booze because I was getting drunk 5-6 nights a week for years.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it's just, I felt like I had to, you know? I felt like I had to in order to play. And I learned how to play sober and I learned how to enjoy it and I learned how to get passionate about it. But I remember one time I was playing at this place in Utah at this Mexican restaurant called El Chihuahua. It was like one of my very first gigs. And they were like famous for having like a heavy pour. Hopefully I don't get them in trouble. But they were they had these drinks called Death Stars. And you drink one of them and you'd be smashed. I think they were using Everclear.
Oh god.
And I remember I drank one before a show and I couldn't stand up. Like I went to set up and I'm like standing there and I had to go get a chair because I just couldn't. So I like went to the bathroom, like splashed some water on my face. And I was just so nervous. And it's like a fucking Mexican restaurant. You know, it's like, it's not a big deal, but I get what you're saying. Like it can definitely be nerve wracking.
What's the biggest bomb you've ever had?
Oh God, dude. I played this show in Key West and it's at this amphitheater. So it's like a proper venue, right? And they had a whole bunch of acts coming up and and I was like an add-on to the end. And it was my buddy that I was telling you about earlier that booked me, but it was like a last minute deal. And so they had me playing last. And they had all these like full reggae bands and like local heroes playing at the shit. And then they had just me solo acoustic.
At the very end?
At the very end.
Oh, fucking up the whole vibe.
Bro, it was so bad. And like I'm on this huge stage. Like this is a massive, it's an amphitheater. Like I'm on this huge stage. There's these big, like these huge lights, like 15 of them, just like in a half circle, just pointing up at me. So I couldn't see anybody. So I was just by myself up there. And like I feed off the crowd. Like I just said, like I'm the opposite of you. Like I feed off the energy of the crowd, but those lights were all shining in my eyes so bright that like I literally couldn't see another soul. And I'm just coming off of this, like it was like this reggae rap group that's like legendary Key West band. Everybody came to see them. And then they bounced. They played and then they left. And then like I went up and I'm like, fuck, dude. And I felt the whole time, I'm just like, usually I love playing. It's my passion. And I wanted that fucking show to be over so bad. And then after I walked off stage, I went backstage and just like sat against the far wall. And I just sat there and I was like, dude, I wished for nothing more than just to shrink into fucking nothing and never be seen again. Like, I can't walk out of this stage. Like, my wife said it wasn't bad, but I mean, it felt like the biggest bomb.
There's
ever.
nothing worse than in the middle of performing and knowing that it isn't right. Like,
And you just want to,
like you just sound like shit. You're just not feeling it.
It sucks so bad. Yeah, that was brutal, dude. I just want, like, I almost fucking quit halfway through and just fucking, you know, I obviously had to finish, but I was just like, dude, fuck this. I remember after that, I contemplate, like, I talked to my wife. I was like, I just need to hang it up. Like, I almost quit playing music after that.
Really?
It was so brutal. Because that was one of the biggest shows I've ever played. They should have had me go first.
Yeah.
I think if I would have gone first, it would have definitely fit the vibe better.
Yeah, the pacing of the show, man, is big.
Important. And I guess like another thing that happened during that show is like, I think they had like Luke Bryan. Word got out that Luke Bryan was like at a bar down the street. And so like half the crowd left.
Oh, fuck. So
I'm just like up there like, fuck, dude. Yeah, there's been other times too. I'm trying to think of some other funny. Oh, dude, I played. So I was friends with the guy that was the radio DJ back in Salt Lake, A-Bear 101, Alan Handy. And they had like their wedding reception and I played and I went golfing that day. So I was hammered and I don't remember playing. I don't remember anything. I blacked out and I never black out, but like, I'm certain nobody said anything to me, but I woke up the next morning just like ashamed. Like I know that was I know that was fucking terrible. Yeah, there's been a lot of times where I've definitely made an ass of myself. Usually booze fueled. That one in Key West, that one sticks out because I was dead sober.
I think the most awkward interaction I had with somebody after a show was I stepped off stage. I just had this big beard. This hot lady come walking up to me, and I was like, "Oh man, she's gonna come talk to me. Hey, this is awesome. This is what rock stars supposed to be like." She goes like, "That's an awfully big beard for such a small man." I don't understand what that means.
Why?
I don't know how to respond to that?
Yeah, that feels backhanded.
Sure. Yeah, I used to hate that, and performing and then doing them bar gigs where you had to play for like 4 hours.
Yeah, dude. I do that every week. I play 4 hours every week at a bar where people don't give a shit. But to me, I think of it as practice. I view it as practice.
So why don't more musicians land investors instead of trying to get record deals? It seems like it's both essentially the same thing.
I think a lot of people don't know how to do it. Don't know how to get investors. And to be honest, I don't know how to do it. I sort of got lucky, I think, I guess maybe I associate with the right people naturally because I'm attracted to I just like hanging out with people that have dreams like I do, like you have all these ideas and like you take action on them like that shit. Like I want to be around people like that. And so a lot of the people that I'm around are super successful people. And I don't know, dude, I just kind of fell into a couple different scenarios where people wanted to help, But I think that is the direction to go as an artist. Like it seems like if you can stay independent.
Oh yeah.
Own your royalties.
And then in the sense of investment side things, like it's a lot easier to invest into pushing your music out online than it is to say putting on an entire show.
Oh yeah.
Or investing into a tour or anything like that. Like nowadays you can buy distribution from influencers essentially.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a good strategy.
Like everybody's waiting for viral moments, but if you had a big enough budget, you can buy viral moments. You can pay for virality.
For sure. Yeah, get a couple people with a couple 100,000 followers to, pay them to help promote. Like that's a lot of people that you're getting your music in front of.
Absolutely. So then what do you do outside of music? Like what do you like to do in your downtime? Movies? Games, what?
I like movies, but I don't know. It's tough because in Utah, the answer would be like snowboarding, fishing, hunting, mountain biking. I did all those things back home, but there's just not really that much of a opportunity to do that here. I guess there is for some of those things, but not like Utah where there's like a ton of public land.
Does everybody from there love the movie SLC Punk?
Dude, I've never even seen that. I don't think.
Really?
I think I've seen clips. I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing. I'm trying to even remember. Yeah.
It's all about the punk scene in Salt Lake City in like the 80s, 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's people that love it. But I remember when it was like popular. But yeah, I don't know, dude. It's hard to even. I don't have any I feel like I don't have any downtime now. Like my downtime is time spent with the family.
Yeah.
Like any spare time I have, it's like
that's dangerous though, man. That's how you end up like me, to where next thing you know, it's been 8 months and you haven't picked up a guitar.
Yeah. Well, luckily I still have like regular gigs. That's considered part of my work. So I'm definitely playing at least every week, and I play a lot, dude. I always have a guitar. Like when I'm sitting around at the house, I always pick up a guitar. It's like habit. Yeah, I don't do a lot outside of music and work and family at this point in my life. I think once the kids get a little, I don't know, probably not. You can tell me. Kids get a little older. I assume you get a little bit of your time back, but
yes
not.
and no. You get more time back in the sense of now you have the choice to get your time back. But I find myself choosing to hang out with my kids over doing other things. Like my oldest has become not my responsibility, but my best friend.
Dude,
so when I get that free time, it's not like, oh, I got to go hang out with my family. It's like, hey, bro, we got some time. What do you want to go do? Let's go do something. Let's go do, yada, yada, yada. It's like hanging out with my best friend.
That's cool. That's beautiful.
So you have more control of your time, but the older they get, the more time you actually want to spend with them. Like I love my babies. But I can't sit and hang out with my daughter for 8 fucking hours and at the end of it be like, oh, that was a blast.
Yeah, dude, 100%. So how old's your youngest?
8 months. Well, she's about to be 9 months. And then we got another one due in April.
and that'll be how many?
8? I get it mixed up. Sometimes I say 9. I'm pretty sure it's 8.
Oh, dude, you better figure that shit out.
Yeah.
But also, I get it. I feel like after like 4 or 5, I could lose track.
Yeah, the worst part is trying to remember birthdays, bro. I'm terrible at it. I get dates mixed up all the time.
Damn, dude, you probably got like birthdays.
Seems like every month I'm buying somebody a fucking birthday gift.
I know, and my wife's my wife always like, oh, she turned 1. Like, get it. I'm like, do we really need to buy her a birthday present for her 1-year-old birthday?
Yeah. I'm the same way. The wife goes crazy over these milestones, and you would think that at this point the novelty would wear off. Nope.
When was the last time you got a tattoo?
I think the last tattoo I got was my jawline tattoo. That was in a couple years.
You're probably running out of room.
That, and man, I just not that into getting tattooed anymore. Like I'm pretty much covered from head to toe. So the coolness of it has worn away a long time ago.
That makes sense.
That I'm not a tough guy. They fucking hurt. I got nothing to prove. Like I hate getting tattooed.
That's so crazy coming from somebody that's covered.
Dude, I fucking hate it so much.
What's the most painful?
Center of the palm.
Center of the palm?
Center of the palm by far. Like, it's the only tattoo where as soon as the needle touched me, I was reevaluating choices and priorities that led to that moment in my life because I was fucking up. I was making the wrong decisions.
Oh, fuck. Middle of the palm. I would have never thought. Right on the outer edge of my foot fucking hurt.
Yeah, the foot just burned real bad, I thought. Like I felt like I was getting tattooed with a lit cigarette.
Yeah. I mean, like where the bone is on the outside of your foot.
Mm-hmm.
That, I don't know.
So you said you started running out of money for your lower leg piece there. How much did you spend on that thing altogether?
I don't know, man. Probably around $1,000.
Okay, so not like he wasn't like raping you on prices.
No, he was pretty reasonable, but it was just I didn't have any money, dude. That was a lot of money for me back then. And then it just kept like, I kept wanting to get it done, and then it just kept taking longer, and I'm just like, dude, fuck, I can't do this. And then I moved, and I'm like, then it was like, oh, game over. I'm done. I'm not going back. So you're a big MMA fan?
Yep.
You know Brian Caraway?
I want to say it sounds familiar, but there's so many names.
He was on Ultimate Fighter like a long time ago. He's probably like 38 or something. He's a friend of mine. He's my only UFC guy I know. But like people recognize him. You know, we go out and shit.
That's over the past year. It's weird. Everything that I was in love and enthralled with, I've been spending so much time just with the baby and the kids, man. It's like, oh, fuck, it's been 8 months and I haven't been to the gym. I haven't followed the fights really. Like, it's been all I've been wanting to do is just hang out with the fucking kids. It's so weird because I was saying earlier, I don't like kids.
My brother's like obsessively follows UFC. Like he doesn't miss a fight ever.
As a grown-ass man, fights are bound to happen. But I'm extremely confident that I'm going to get into a position to where you can't hurt me. And that's thanks to jiu-jitsu. I may not fucking break your arm. I may not choke you out, get in a position to submit you, but I know that I can get into a position to where you're not going to fuck my world all the way up too.
Yeah.
Unless you're a highly trained individual, and that's a different story.
So how old were you when you started getting into jiu-jitsu?
Well, I've always been in like competitive combat sports. Started off with like taekwondo and boxing and kickboxing and shit when I was a kid. Once I got into kickboxing, that opened the doors to MMA, which led to jiu-jitsu. And then I fell in love with jiu-jitsu, and that became like my primary practice. That and fucking getting punched in the face sucks. Like, even if it's just with your buddy and you're sparring, like getting punched in the face,
not fun.
Fucking 3 nights a week is just shitty.
We used to do like backyard boxing matches at my house.
Yeah, we did that back in our party days, on college campus and shit.
Yeah, that's all it was just party. Somebody would bring gloves and we just beat the shit out of each other.
But oddly enough, I'm terrified of fighting.
Yeah. You should be. I don't know.
I think the more you know, the more you realize that like you could get fucked up. The more you learn how to fuck somebody up, the more you're like, oh, somebody could really fuck me up.
Well, dude, it's life or death. I mean, if you're in a street fight, you should look at it as life or death because people do die.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We had a kid. One of my buddies actually punched this kid for probably a good reason. You know, like I think he hit his sister or something, and punched him twice, and it ended up killing him.
Yeah, I got a buddy right now who's fighting charges. It's kind of like the same thing. Dude ran up on him at the bar. He tried to walk away. The guy followed him outside. They end up getting a couple hands thrown. Dude falls, hits his head, dies. And now he's sitting in fucking prison fighting a murder case.
Sucks. Luckily, my buddy got acquitted. But no, hopefully he does too. Especially if it's something like that, where it's like, that sounds like self-defense to me.
Well, the shitty part about it was he was on parole and wasn't supposed to be at a bar and like all these little technicalities and shit. And that's where they're getting him hung up on. Like, they just revoked his probation for being at the bar. And now he's sitting in prison on revoked parole as he's fighting this murder charge.
Damn, dude, that's rough.
Just had fucking baby girl, 2 baby girls, something like that. Yeah.
Makes me feel like
the
my
nicest dude in the world. And one of my close friends to where I trust that motherfucker to have my back in any situation. I could call him up and be like, hey, dude, my car broke down. I need to borrow 10 grand. Like, he's on it. Like, that kind of got my back. One of the nicest dudes I've ever met, and to be put in the shittiest of scenarios that you could probably find yourself in. Because it's one thing if you're about that life and then you get in trouble and then you go to prison and you're about that life. But if you're not, and then you just ended up getting in a fight and now you're in fucking prison.
Yeah. Well, that's what scared the shit out of me when my buddy was going through it. I'm like, dude, that could have been me. I've been in fights, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been in fights. I've fucking broke somebody's nose. I've knocked somebody's teeth out. I've been knocked out. Like, but that could have easily been me. you know, like all it takes is like you knock somebody out and they, like you said, like that's exactly what happened to this kid too, is like his head hit the asphalt just the wrong way. Like, dude, fuck. That could happen to anybody.
Yeah. And then you're shit out of luck.
Yeah. No, dude, makes my problems feel minuscule hearing that shit.
Right?
Crazy.
Yeah, he'll hit me up because I get tablets and shit in jail now.
Really?
He'll shoot me text messages and this and that. He'll ask me how I'm doing, and I don't want to complain about shit to him. But I don't want to be like, oh, life's great out here on the outside at the same time, you know? So then do you have like jam sessions with buddies and shit? Do you sit around and just...
Now it's more of like a song, like let's write a song.
Okay.
Since we've been in, you know, like, hey, let's get together and write. I kind of wish there was more jam sessions though. Like I'd love to just...
There's this place here in Louisville called Stevie Ray's.
Oh, dude.
And what's cool about that is they have live music every night of the week. But on like Tuesdays and Thursdays, they do this open band. It's not open mic, it's open band. So how it works is everybody shows up and everybody's signing up and says what it is that they play. Say you sign up and say you're playing lead guitar. I sign up saying I play drums. Well, what they'll do is they get on stage. The main guy who's like running it, like the singer guy, they'll be like, all right, I need Rob that plays drums. I need Cade from guitar. I need Jason that plays bass. Everybody come up on stage. And he'll be like, all right, now we're going to be going dun, 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 in the key of A. And then he'll get the bass player and then the drums going. Then he'll get the guitar player going. And he orchestrates out of 4 to 5 different strangers. And within 5 minutes, you have this group of strangers putting on a fucking jam, dude. And that's so every Tuesday and Thursday night. And I'm not a big drinker. I don't really drink. So what's cool is they'll let me go in there and drink fucking sodas. I order a pizza that gets delivered to the bar. And I get to sit in the back and just watch live music and eat pizza.
Dude, that sounds amazing. Also, I love Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Boss,
you done?
go check her out. Cade, again, thank you so much for being here and doing this with me. We'll post a picture up here of the tattoo we got done with. Is there anything you want to plug before we bounce out, bro?
First of all, thank you, man, for having me. And I'll say, yeah, I got a song coming out on Friday. When is this going to be out?
Sunday.
Okay. So I got a new song out. Just came out on Friday. It's called Blissful Misery. Give it a listen. Follow me on Instagram. Be releasing a lot of music this year. And yeah, would love the support if you enjoy it.
Great. We'll get that all tagged up in there too for people to be able to check out your stuff there. If you guys found any value in today's conversation, please like, subscribe, share. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.